It's a real honor and a privilege to be here. I've meditated for well over 20 years, and it is something that is really important to me, is to make the most out of every moment. One of the ways that I make the most out of my work is to have meaningful work. I mean, that's why we're here, right? To have meaningful work and to have a meaningful existence. And I live in the world of technology, and technology is everywhere. Technology is at the heart of some of the most important problems that this world faces: climate change, the overhaul, the revolution that's happening within the medical world. And as you can see on the screen, you can also see technology in places like wearable. These were some remarkable artists that came to the last Grace Hopper celebration. But wearable technologies of these tiny little devices on everything they wear is part of our future. But we want for technology to be the best that it can be. And one of the levers that we can hold is to have more women at the table creating technology. There is just no question. There is no question that we want the best minds creating the technology that's going to impact our world. And it's not just my belief that it would be better if women were there. There's actually a lot of research that says that with women present, it's better for the business. And I certainly think that it's better for the world. I found computer science when I was young. I was an undergraduate, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. In fact, I was just about ready to leave school, and I took my first programming class. Now, this was back in the days when you programmed with a deck of cards. Yes. But I feel very blessed because from that first moment when I walked into that class and through that year, I knew that I had found my passion, something that I really wanted to do. And I knew that, and part of why I felt from those very early days why computing was right for me was because I knew that I could make a difference in the world. My first job was with to develop a networking system for the Israeli army. This was a while ago, but I really did believe that the technology I was creating was helping the world. I worked in technology. I worked in the semiconductor industry for many years, and as an entrepreneur, and every moment I felt like the difference that I could make for our customers, for the world, was important. But I was one of just a few women in semiconductors, and so part of what I did, not my day job, but from many years, I worked with other young women to help them. And we founded the Grace Hopper Celebration. And if you could see women creating technology, you know that it will look different. And you can see on your screen just a couple of people talking about their passion in terms of the kinds of technology that they are working on. And in fact, I can tell you that a conference that is a technology conference that is created by women for women looks a lot different than the technology conferences overall. You can see the sea of women. We had 12,000 people at the last conference, and it's energized. And part of what my work at the Anita Borg Institute is for women to provide a connection. Because if you're really one of just a few women working in the field, connection is very much important. Inspiration, the chance to see these remarkable role models, some of whom I'll talk about in a little while, but also guidance. How do you have the career that you want? And why do you care? Once again, I can guarantee you that technology is better when women are involved, and we want these women creating technology. So where are we today? I mean, what is the story? There's about 18% of computer science grads are women. 18%. When I went to school, a few years ago, yes, it was closer to 40% of computer scientists were women. And it was because that it was a culture that reached out to anybody who was interested to be part of this revolution. And all too often today, when young girls look around, they don't see something that they want to do. Because they don't, I mean, what I believe is that that there's the culture of how this contributes to the larger world. We're just not getting that message out. About 23% of the working world is women in technology. But if you see the pipeline on my right, your left, you can see that women that start fairly, about what's available, but go down substantially throughout the pipeline. And one of those little secrets is, regardless of how much we do with the pipeline, women leave at twice the rate of men. Yes, women leave at twice the rate of men. You can see some of the reasons on the screen. We have something called the Top Company for Women Technologists, and we see about 25% of the women coming in are women, but that it goes down dramatically to about 12%. The reason that they leave is because they don't feel like they can make a contribution. These women are not leaving the workforce. They're going off and doing other things. They're still working, but they don't feel like they can make meaningful contributions to technology. And what I know is that we suffer because of this, because technology is such an important part of our life. Their loss is our loss. For example, there was a young woman named Sylvia that I met when she was just graduating from college in computer science. She came from Mexico, and she was so excited about applying for this job at a large company that she had always wanted to work at, and she got the job. So she went to work for this large company doing something that she had always dreamed of doing. I saw her about 2 years later, and she was ready to leave the company. She was ready to leave technology. She was just fed up. And a lot of it was the culture that she was working in. Now, Sylvia was really smart. She actually reached out to me. She reached out to some other executives at this company, and she talked about what was going on. In this particular case, it was the small group she was in, and it wasn't necessarily the company overall. So she was able to move to a different state to get a different job, and she stayed for a while. But all this time, even though this company is creating technology that is having a huge impact on our planet, she didn't feel like she was making a difference, and so she left a few years later and went back to medical school. Because for her, she could see how she could contribute through medicine, and she couldn't see how she was contributing through technology. This is at the heart of the issues that we work with. We work with organizations, and I will tell you that understanding that technology there's meaningful work, and presenting that to your workforce is actually really important. Because, once again, this technology is going to have a huge impact on the world's lives, and we want them. We want people there. We want the best minds. We want women and men. But the women I know need to feel like they are making meaningful contributions. So what can companies do? What can organizations do? Oh, and one more point. is that it's not just me, but there's a lot of research data that says that for companies that have more women at the table, they increase return on investment, increases return on sales, increases return on equity. So it's not just the right thing to do, it makes business sense. We work a lot with organizations, and one of those dirty little secrets is that it varies a lot with organizations. There are places where women thrive. But the first thing you want to do is be able to recruit. Organizations need to go to where the women are. All too often, organizations hire from the same places, and so they get the same mix of people. This isn't just women. This is really talking about a diverse landscape. One of the places you can come is to the Grace Hopper celebration, certainly. Lots of women. What can you do? I mean, you, in your life, you want to have more women involved in your work. So understanding that you want to think differently about how you recruit, how you reach out is really important. The next point is to what you measure, you will change. This is, we have something called the Top Companies for Women Technologists. It's a data platform that allows companies to truly understand how they, where they are, how many women at the entry level, mid-level, senior level, and executive level. And as the graph on my left, your right, shows, whereas the average is 21% of women are at companies, the top performers are closer to 30%. And this gets back to, there's a lot of differences. And the organizations that are able to retain their workforce, their women, it's because they are showing their workforce that their contributions are meaningful. It's really what it's all about. Intel is a semiconductor company. I come from the world of semiconductors, and the world of Intel that I remember was constructive confrontation, which I will tell you, lots of people did not feel like they belonged. But they have really taken a systematic approach to overhauling their culture. You see their president, BK, accepting our top companies for women technologists a few years ago. They just released their diversity report. And they had, in the last year, they'd increased their representation of women in their technical workforce by 2%. And that may not seem like a lot, but when you have tens of thousands of people, making significant change is hard. And it really takes a commitment. And once again, the data allows you to understand where to create change. But the best organizations then look at why are we losing people at this particular point in time? What is the reasons? What do people want from a great place to work? Once again, how do you think about this in terms of your life? And understanding that data provides you with a way to think about where you want to go. And so remember to always look at your data. And then the last point that I wanted to make is that women attract other women. Companies with more executive women had more women without their ranks. What a surprise. And just to give you some examples about why role models are so important, on my far left is Megan Smith, the first female CTO of the United States. Okay. We've had the honor of having Megan speak at the last few Grace Hopper celebrations, and she has done a phenomenal job of looking at technology broadly within the United States. She's brought in a lot of people, but women and men, to help overhaul systems at the Veterans Administration, at the IRS, places that are using really obsolete systems. She brings in these experts, young people who really do understand current technology, people, men and women who are creating technologies, and they've had a huge impact on our national systems. And talk about feeling like you are making a difference, that your work is meaningful. Some of the work that Megan is doing with the people that she's bringing to Washington is phenomenal. You should see her at the Grace Hopper celebration. She's surrounded by young women, because inspirational role models are so important to people thinking about what do I want to do? Can I look up and see myself within my organization? Once again, think about in your world, think about the role models, think about how to bring in the right role models, how to expose the people you want to impact to these role models. It's really important. On my far right, and your left is Clara Shih. She was a Grace Hopper scholar a few years ago. I first met her when she was at Stanford in computer science. She went on to found she's the founder and CEO of a startup in San Francisco. And once again, is a huge role model for so many women who think, yes, I can do this too. So I want to end by saying that it is really important to have women and men at the table creating technology. It is really important to have meaningful work in the creation of technology. And I hope that each one of you will take some of these ideas and to think about how you have a gender-balanced team in all that you do. I mean, as one example, because of the work that we do with women, our staff is mostly women. And so the way that we think about diversity is to ensure that men are included at the table as we create our programs. Yes, this is important too. Anyway, enjoy your day, and thank you so much.